สวัสดีค่ะ Time now for the midday edition of NBT World Brief right here on NBT and NBT World. You're with me, Tra Chirakalsan. Prime Minister ANUTIN Chanvirakul traveled to Cebu in the Philippines earlier today to attend the 48th ASEAN Summit, while attention is focused on the first meeting between Thai and Cambodian foreign ministers following Thailand's cancellation of the MOU 44 agreement. Yesterday, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Siyasak Phuongketkaew arrived in Cebu, Philippines and attended an official reception hosted by Philippine Foreign Secretary Maria Teresa P. Lazaro in her capacity as chair of the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting. The gathering served as an informal exchange ahead of today's ministerial-level ASEAN meetings. The meeting is being closely watched as it marks the first encounter between Thailand and Cambodia since the Thai government announced the cancellation of the Memorandum of Understanding on Overlapping Maritime Claims, known as MOU 44, earlier this week. Cambodia is represented by Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn. At 11 a.m. today, Prime Minister and Interior Minister ANUTIN Chanvirakul and his delegation departed from Wing 6 Air Force Base at Don Mueang in Bangkok for Brigadier General Benito N. Ibiun Air Base in Cebu, Philippines. The Prime Minister is attending the 48th ASEAN Summit, which runs from May 7th until the 9th under the theme Navigating Our Future Together. Prime Minister ANUTIN said Thailand plans to propose that ASEAN turn global crises into opportunities to strengthen the region and position ASEAN as a central force in all dimensions. The Finance Ministry says registration for the new Thais Help Thais Plus relief program will open on May 25th, with the government aiming to begin distributing benefits from June 1st to help ease living costs for low-income groups. Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Nititan Prapat announced progress on the government's Thais Help Thais Plus program, which combines benefits from the half-half co-payment scheme and the state welfare card program. The government plans to open registration for shops and the public on May 25th, with implementation expected to begin on June 1st. Participants must be at least 18 years old with identity verification linked to Interior Ministry databases. Each person will be eligible for only one entitlement. Low-income earners making less than 100,000 baht annually, including 13.2 million existing state welfare card holders, are expected to receive 1,000 baht per month in assistance, an increase of 700 baht from the current 300 baht benefit. Under the co-payment portion of the scheme, the government will pay 60%, while participants cover the remaining 40%. Authorities are considering implementing the project in two phases to allow more time to verify newly registered applicants, while existing welfare card holders will initially serve as the main beneficiary base. Deputy Prime Minister Niti added that the merged program will integrate databases from previous co-payment and blue flag retail schemes, covering around 1.4 to 1.5 million participating shops nationwide. The Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister has defended the government's decision to issue an emergency borrowing decree, saying urgent action is needed to support the economy, businesses, and the public amid global and energy-related uncertainties. Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Nititan Prapat said the government had carefully considered alternative options before deciding to issue the emergency decree under Section 172 of the Constitution. The Deputy Prime Minister said reallocating delayed spending from the 2026 fiscal budget could provide no more than 50 billion baht, while the 2027 budget will not take effect until October 1st, or another 5 months from now, making it too late to respond to the current economic situation and provide urgent assistance to the public and businesses. Regarding the Democrat Party's plan to petition the Constitutional Court to review the decree, Deputy Prime Minister Ekniti said he was not concerned, noting that a similar legal challenge was made against the 400 billion baht Strong Thailand Emergency Borrowing Decree introduced in 2009 under former Prime Minister Apisit Vejchajiwa. He said the decree would authorize the Finance Ministry to secure financial resources to cushion the impact of possible global and energy crises, while a screening committee would carefully evaluate projects focused on easing living costs and accelerating Thailand's transition toward renewable energy to reduce long-term dependence on imported fuel and natural gas. Thailand's inflation rate rose sharply in April as surging global oil prices linked to tensions in the Middle East and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz drove up transportation and food costs, although officials insist the country is not facing stagflation. Nantapong Jiralertpong, the director of the Trade Policy and Strategy Office, or TPSO, reported that Thailand's Consumer Price Index for April 2026 stood at 103.03, pushing headline inflation up by 2.89%. The increase was mainly driven by higher fuel prices following the Middle East crisis and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which raised public transportation fares and increased costs for prepared food and fresh vegetables. Core inflation, which excludes fresh food and energy prices, rose by 0.83%. Average inflation during the first 4 months of the year increased by 0.32%, while inflation in May is expected to remain positive at around 3.06% due to elevated global oil prices, rising transportation expenses, and higher raw material costs, including animal feed.
นอกจากในเรื่องของค่าพลังงานนะครับก็อาหารจานเดียวก็ถือว่าเป็นส่วนสำคัญของเงินเฟ้อนะครับแล้วก็เป็นส่วนสำคัญที่ผู้ประกอบการเนี่ยก็ส่งผ่านต้นทุนมาแล้วก็เร็วแล้วก็ยังมีแนวโน้มไปต่อใช่ไหมคะมีแนวโน้มไปต่อครับก็อย่างที่นำเรียนว่าคือถ้าพวกเราคุ้นเคยนะครับก็จะเห็นว่าส่วนใหญ่เนี่ยการส่งผ่านต้นทุนอาหารจานเดียวเนี่ยเร็วแล้วก็ซึมนะครับซึมนั่นหมายถึงก็ค่อยไปเรื่อยๆนะครับแล้วก็สิ่งที่เกิดขึ้นก็คือส่วนใหญ่ขึ้นแล้วก็จะลงยากนะครับ
However, the TPSO said Thailand has not entered a stagflation period, citing continued growth in domestic consumption, low unemployment at 0.96%, expanding exports and investment, as well as upcoming government stimulus measures. The Commerce Ministry continues to project full-year inflation at between 1.5 and 2.5%, with an average of 2%. Thailand's HAJJ Affairs Office is continuing preparations for Thai pilgrims in Mecca ahead of the key HAJJ rituals later this month, with a focus on religious guidance, health, and safety. Yesterday, Mr. Somyot Wang Abdullah, head of the Academic Affairs Division of the HAJJ Affairs Office of Thailand, together with Mr. Suwandi Yusohem, conducted a briefing for Thai pilgrims staying at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. The session aimed to prepare pilgrims before the beginning of the HAJJ rituals later this month. Officials provided guidance on the proper performance of Hajj rituals according to Islamic principles conducted during important religious days, as well as health and safety precautions to help pilgrims complete their religious duties smoothly. The division head also encouraged pilgrims to apply their basic religious knowledge and adapt appropriately to daily life conditions during the Hajj period. The Hajj Affairs Office of Thailand says it will continue organizing educational activities to support Thai pilgrims in achieving a successful and spiritually fulfilling Hajj Mabrur. And that's it for the midday edition of NBT World Brief. You can stay updated with the latest developments right here on NBT and NBT World. And for more stories, simply scan the QR code on your screen to access our full coverage across all media platforms. Until next time, สวัสดีค่ะ